Free pile, side of the road. No, there's no sign. People do in our area. What do you think? We could leave that behind because it's missing that part. Well, it's got gas in it. Straight shaft. Yeah, we'll go throw that in the truck. Alright, so I got that little weed whacker home, one we just trash picked. And I've done nothing other than on the side of the road, I just gave a quick yank on the pull start to see if that would operate. And see how everything else kind of does. Not sure if that's pumping up or not. I don't see anything that's the failure with it right at the moment. Looks like it was used a bit, judging by the patina. What's that, a tag? Is that a repair tag maybe? I don't know. Engine looks pretty clean though. Shall we do the sniff test? Fuel looks a little cloudy. Like it might have water in the bottom of it. I'm not sure of that. Two-stroke gas, you know, it's got color to it anyway, but just it's either the plastic that's in there or it just looks like it's very hazy. Doesn't smell bad though. What do you say we just go give her a couple of tugs on the old string there and see if something happens? Let me get you set up in the stand. Yeah, see what we get. I would suspect a fuel problem, but who knows? We'll run. Switch to on. As soon as I hit the throttle, the choke pops off, so it's meant to not start with the choke. With throttle, rather. Don't even hear a glimmer of a... Let's try full throttle. What do you think? Check for spark? Figure out where to get to it. We'll figure it's under this guy somewhere. It's the air cleaner. Let's get something out. We go get to the plug. I think it's down below. Let's see if we get that plug out. Looks pretty dry. Now the hard part is we need to try to find something that's metal to arc against. Can I access that pull start? Let's try. Making sure that you guys can still see. Can you see? How about now? What do you think? I felt a tingle in my fingers. Does that count? I have a feeling that screw is just screwing in the plastic. Let's dribble a little bit of fuel in it. I'll give it a tug, and if it fires off, then we know it's got spark. How's that? There we go. Let's do it to choke off. It's in run position. And the switch is in run. Yeah, so it will run, but it's got a fuel issue Hit that primer bulb and see if you can hear what I hear. It just sounds like air is kind of circulating around and around. I'm kind of wondering if maybe just the fuel line may have broken off on the inside. It's now causing an issue. Let's see if we can grab that float. It's a filter with a weight. Oh, there you go. That's not too good. That should be attached to a fuel line, and that is the filter, and it's a weight, and what it does is however the string trimmer is moving, it kind of follows that to stay in the lowest part of the tank where the fuel is. So that is not going to help us. Let's see if we can find what there is, where it went. I'm not feeling much of anything. So we'll go search for that and see what we can come up with. Well, I can't see in there very well, so I figure I kind of question the fuel anyway, so why don't we dump the fuel out in that plastic container right there, and then we'll go to see where the line is and how the fuel itself is. Think. Can we see it now? It is over here, and I always thought the line was supposed to be much longer than that. I think that line is just rotted right off. I broke it right off with my finger. I think the one that you see taller is the return, and the one that's on the left is supposed to be the feed to that. So let's see if I get this plastic out of the way of the back of the carburetor. See if we can run a new line to that filter and see if she'll take off. Nice. Set it up so it's a little higher up in the air. Let's see if it'll help us to see a little bit. It looks like pretty much all the lines are crap. A little skinny one. The little skinny one is the one that's still there. And I don't know, I would say that's the one that went up and grabbed the fuel. Is that going the wrong way? Trying to fill the primer bulb. That's blowing out, not in, which I would think would be the other way around. You want to draw from that filter, and this went on the other side. So I have a feeling this guy goes on the other line on the bulb, and then this one we got to run a new one up to the filter. Let me see if I can go find for fuel line. A little dusty, but we got some fuel line, which is good. Looks to be the right size. Stab that underneath your fingernails. That should be it. Let's go check it on the filter, I guess. Should be good. And then the way you got to kind of do these is you put it on the filter and cut a taper on the end of it, and then try pulling it through the hole, and then pulling that whole assembly down inside there. Just hoping that the line looks a little larger than what's on there. You might have to go. That feels like this one, but this one, I don't know. As long as you can get to pull through that hole, I guess we should be okay. Let's see if we can get that sucker down inside there. So I am going to cut it in a very steep angle so that that can possibly feed in through that hole. Got a little roach clip here. Above it, I do not see it poking through. You know the other way to do it? Probably the correct way to do it. It's probably to draw it in through the bottom. Pull it all the way up. Put the filter on it. Yeah, let's try it that way. Try to help it. That fuel line's tight, but you kind of want that. Got about an inch through. See if I could choke up on it a little harder. A little lube probably wouldn't hurt. The other thing I'm afraid of, if the hose is so tight, if it's going to crimp off the... There we go. A little more. Alright, let's see if I can still blow through it. I can. So that's good. Let's cut off that. Pulling a worm out of a hole. You guys even see it looking down a little bit. There you go. So let's go and clip that guy flat again. Get the filter on it. Split that. Seems alright. Shove that back down in. Pull back on it. This is enough so the filter can kind of flop around the bottom. Should be good enough. Now we got to figure out which one went where. And again, these felt like they were kind of backwards. I just got to figure out which one's in and out. I actually think it says it. I think it says it right on it. I'm going to go look under the scope and we'll figure that out. Put those back on. Yes, they are backwards. That is the in. What do you say? We probably need about... I want to leave enough to get to the carburetor. So we'll cut that one right there. And again, which one was in? I think the tall one. That one? You guys see? It is the short one. The short one says in. So it's in from the fuel tank. And the out is going to go back to the carburetor. But before I do that, I'm probably going to change this little one. Let me see how it feels. Actually, it feels pretty good. I might just leave it alone. Go change the other one, put the cover back on it, and see if it'll prime up. I used the rest of the other fuel line. I didn't cut it down because a 2-inch piece of fuel line is not going to do me much good anyway. And as long as it doesn't crimp, we should be okay. And it'll make for easier future removals. I think we got it. I think we can dump that fuel in. I think we can make a mess. Let's move my phone. from underneath it. That might be a good idea. And we'll fill her up with the gas that was in it. Actually, doesn't look too bad. I say we go with that. And we'll save the last little bit of crap so it doesn't go in there. Yeah, that. Let's see if it'll. Primer doesn't feel right. Possibility I squished the lines? Could be. We have to take that 2 inches out of there in the first place. I thought I draped it up out of the way though. Let's try priming it. Let's get the screws out of the way. Try priming it with the cover off and see if it'll go. There it goes. I need to shorten that. See if that's a little better for us. It's making gurgling noises and pushing fuel out like a primer. Let's see. We shall kick first. It's on run. Choke is up. His choke is on. May or may not need it. Let it run a minute. I think somebody screwed with the carburetor screws. That's what I'm thinking. So I tried several times after that and still does the same thing. Runs for a couple seconds and dies. So you got 2 air fuel mixed screws, and of course the government has decided to make it harder and harder to adjust those, because you really wouldn't want an engine to run correctly. You'd rather make it just run on the choke and pollute everything. So this is the correct one for it. I am going to try backing the high and low out about a half a turn and just try starting it up from there and see if that makes any improvement for us. The air cleaner's back on too, because sometimes the air cleaner can make a difference in how much it's, how lean or rich it's running. Closer. Alright, so I'm going to fire it up again. I'm going to try dialing them in. I'm going to go dance back and forth with between the low and the high. The low meaning idle speed, high meaning high revving speed. They kind of affect each other a little bit, so that's why I'm going to dance back and forth. But I'm going to try getting the idle set up correctly first, and then go to the high, and then just kind of go back and forth until we can actually get it where we rev the throttle and it does what it's supposed to do. So without further ado, let's do. now I think we should put some string on it and try beating some weeds. Let's screw it a little bit more, trying to get the idle speed down so that the head's not spinning when you let off, but it stays running. Might go with that for a while. The other thing is the low screw and the high screw. You want the low to get rid of the bog. As soon as you hit the trigger, if it falls on its face, the low is too, I think it's too rich. It actually can kind of do it either way. And then on the high screw, you'll want it so that, not that it runs its very best and screams, you want to back off of that so it's a little more on the rich side and a little bit of four-stroking going on. It's better for the engine and the heat level that's in it. And here I was like a little broken up instead of just like screaming. It also needs longer strings on it too for the load that gets put on it. The more string that's on it, the more load that's on the head, and the more it will drag down the RPMs too. So we're going to get that taken care of, or might even just have to hit the head and it'll come back. Never had one of these apart. I don't know if you just have to push on the orange. Should release it. There we go. Don't know if that's round the right way because it didn't want to feed out when I tried to tap it. Usually has arrows on it which way to feed it. Not seeing any. I look underneath the microscope. So the idea is so that you bump the ground with the center bulb here. These threads come up out of those threads and it allows this to spin free. Well, this, there it goes, was not moving up and down, so something was kind of kiboshi on that. There it was. It seemed like it just freed itself up. Let me see if we rethread it and get it to go. And I do not see arrows on any of it, which way to thread it. We have just have to figure it out on our own. Might be something there. There you go. There's the arrow. Right there. That might just be rotation though. Well, they got that squared away, kind of, sort of, I think. I think I got it wound the right way. Let's fire it up. It should knock off about a ½ inch off each one with the knife. See the load difference on it? So I might be able to go a little bit leaner now on the high side because you can hear how much it's four-stroking. That's too much going the other way. Let's see if we can dial that in. Leave it right there. Yeah, let's go try that on some weeds, shall we? On. I'd say that's one for the win.